You're listening to episode 52 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with the Green Smoothie Girl, Robyn Openshaw. Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hen, and welcome to the Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we dive into what makes an awesome lifestyle. From relationships to money mindset, nutrition to fitness, emotional health to peak performance, we bring you on an amazing journey to unleashing your human potential. Robyn Openshaw is the author of 15 books, including bestsellers The Green Smoothie Diet and 12 Steps to Whole Foods. Her latest book, the Amazon #1 bestseller, Vibe, Unlock the Energetic Frequencies of Limitless Health, Love, and Success, was released by Simon & Schuster in October of 2017. She's a former psychotherapist, university professor, and lecturer of over 450 cities in the 6 years after launching her popular site, GreenSmoothieGirl.com, in 2007. She's a single mom to 4 children who are now flying the coop. She skis and plays tennis competitively in Utah and believes that everything is possible if you leverage the highest frequencies in the universe. You're going to be able to find her on her podcast, Your High Vibration Life, which I highly recommend. That's on iTunes. You can also look for her, Green Smoothie Girl, on Facebook, and her website, like I just said, GreenSmoothieGirl.com. So without further ado, here's Robyn. All right, here we have today in Lifestyle Locker Radio, in the studio here, we have Robyn Openshaw, the Green Smoothie Girl, who all of you know, I'm sure. So welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here, Josh.
I'm very psyched to have you here. I kind of took a deep dive into your work over the past couple of weeks, listening to your podcast and starting to read the new book and kind of all over your websites. Can you give us a little bit of your story, a little bit of your background, what kind of brought you from your initial work, what you were trained in school to do, to where you are today?
Yeah, I was trained as a therapist, and I went to school to sort of heal my own wounds. I come from a background of a lot of trauma and abuse, and I really went to grad school to figure my own stuff out and see if, along the path I could help others who were suffering. And, I got through grad school and I had 2 babies in graduate school, and was working as a psychotherapist with children, with prisoners, with sexual abuse perpetrators. I've done a lot of interesting things and seen a lot of human suffering and pain. And when I was in my mid-20s, even though I've been an athlete my whole life, I gained a whole ton of weight. I ended up being diagnosed with 21 different diseases.
Wow.
I spent 5 years trying to, we were trying to be parents, and I went through every infertility test there was twice, had multiple miscarriages, and finally went through 4 artificial inseminations, got pregnant with twins, lost one of them. One of my twins died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just, lots of things. And when my baby was born, I was so excited. He was 9 pounds, 23 inches, super healthy. And when he was 15 months old, his health started to deteriorate. When he was about 7 months old, the doctor told me it was time to wean him. So I weaned him onto infant formula, soon to be followed by many bottles a day of cow milk, which I did not know at the time was, full of hormones and steroids and antibiotics and other things that will offend people if I say what's in that stuff. And my son's health just started to decline, and I was just weaning him the way everybody else was onto what I now call the standard American diet. And I was feeding him chicken nuggets and fast food, and Otter Pops were his treat, and Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And these are the things I was eating too. Well, both of us, our health was just in free fall. Then my son ended up being on constant bronchodilators, steroids, including 5 courses of liquid steroids. Repeatedly, he was on antibiotics, and his health just deteriorated to the point where he was in and out of hospitals.
Wow.
And it was terrifying.
I can imagine.
Yeah, well, and I spent 5 years bringing him into the world, and there were many times I thought that he might not make it through the night. And I remember the day that the pediatrician wrote me a prescription for his 5th course of liquid steroids. And he told me, like, it was like an afterthought. I was like walking out of the room and he said, by the way, 5 courses of liquid steroids is guaranteed to stunt his growth. I
Holy
was like,
cow.
well, that's not, yeah. I was like, that's not okay. That's not okay with me. Like, so what else you got? And he said, we don't have anything else. Like, you've done all the things. You've used all the magic bullets, like all the things we have to give you, you've already used them. All we have is more of the same. So I was super distraught. Well, my grandmother had beat metastatic melanoma in the 80s. I had watched her when I was pretty young, watch my grandmother do the Gerson therapy and opt out of chemotherapy and radiation. Everybody thought she was crazy, and she didn't do chemo, she didn't do radiation. Instead, she like drank 11 glasses a day of green juice and took like apricot pits that have B17 or amygdalin that is actually cytotoxic to cancer cells. And I watched my grandmother beat metastatic cancer. Like, she was told she had a year to live, and instead she was there when all my children were born. She lived another 25 years. And
How cool.
it was an inspiration for me to go back to when I sort of hit the wall on my own health. I was over 200 pounds. My son was failure to thrive. They called him. He'd fallen below the 5th percentile for weight when he was 15 months old. Well, when I was told that the drug treatments that he was being given were guaranteed to stunt his growth, and he was in and out of emergency rooms and hospitals, that's when I said, there's got to be something I can do here. And I sort of drew on that inspiration from watching my grandmother beat cancer a million years ago and said, hey, I wonder if our diet has something to do with it. And I went in my kitchen, my pantry, fridge, freezer, and I just threw all the shit out. I just threw away all the white flour. I threw away all the sugar. I threw away everything that was in packages and cans, and just went to the store and started walking around with a grocery cart looking for things that I cook myself that were, mostly plants, and got rid of the processed foods. And Josh, everything turned around, everything. And my son would never again be on a steroid. He would never again be on an antibiotic. And I would go on to have 3 more children without any interventions who they've never been on an antibiotic either. I just got so excited
That's so great.
I discovered the green smoothie. There was no word for that. This was in like 1994, and nobody knew what a green smoothie was. And for years, I would carry this stuff around in a jar, and people would be so disgusted and say, what is that? And so I put greensmoothiegirl.com up over 10 years ago when the internet was really quite young, to tell our story, because not only did my son my son went on to be a state level athlete. He led the team to the state playoffs his senior year of high school. He hit 2 grand slams. He pitched a shutout. He was like carried off the field, MVP, led the state of Utah in RBIs. 6'3". 6'3".
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's tall. It's got me beat.
He wasn't headed that direction. I mean, failure to thrive at a year old, and we turned his diet around, got him off all those drug medications, and he got to really live out his destiny and do what I think he was really born to do. And at the same time, I ditched 70 pounds, didn't count calories, didn't go on a diet, just started eating whole foods and stopped eating the white flour, white sugar, processed junk, drive-through. And I went on to be a competitive athlete too. And now I play, tennis year round at the 4.0 level, and I ski and do lots of things. And I really believe that changing our diet is so completely foundational. So that's kind of where I come from. I've just sort of accidentally fallen into this career of serving people online who are trying to make some of the same turnarounds and escape the standard American diet. Because when I put that website up 10 years ago, I was just there telling my story, and the site went really crazy viral. And I've been very fortunate to tell my story on 450 live stages nationwide in the last 10 years. And I love helping people discover the way to eat whole foods, but eat whole foods deliciously and inexpensively, and without spending 4 hours a day in the kitchen like the average 1940s homemaker did. We can find really easy, inexpensive, delicious ways to eat whole foods.
I think that's so cool. To going in to help people, going to school for this, and the universe had a nice little shift for you to kind of like as a wake up call, and now you're like this icon in the natural health world. I think that is, I mean, there are no accidents in this story.
Yeah, some really beautiful, amazing things have happened along the way. I've gotten to meet thousands of people on a journey much like mine, different points along the path, and always more to learn. I'm always trying to learn and become, but I'm just so grateful that all that early studying on how to help people has taken forms I could have never planned. But I love to see people make small changes that yield huge differences in their ability to love their life.
Yeah, so this is interesting because I'm a chiropractor and I take care of people in a holistic way. And when people take certain steps, we encourage everybody to eat well and to, green things are very good to eat, right? When the patients that decide to make those choices and actually follow through, it's amazing the way they actually heal because. And I heard this on one of your podcasts, just talking about like how drugged our society is with, like a pill for every single ill, the magic bullet, like you just mentioned before. Little do people know that the medicine cabinet really is nature.
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't actually take that much to heal, like the small hinge that turns the big door. I mean, back then when my son was so very ill, below the 5th percentile for weight, he was struggling to breathe all night, every night. He was on constant drugs. I mean, just by ditching the processed meat, the dairy products, sugar and flour, which that's like pretty much all we ate. But, it's not like I don't know how to eat greens and vegetables and fruits. I just had to find ways and I had to buy them and I had to be committed. I had to be motivated enough. And I'll tell you, my son almost dying a bunch of times with some pretty good motivation. Yeah, I consider it's one of the best things that ever happened to me, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah.
Because there's not much motivation like a mother trying to save her baby's life, right?
Yeah. You don't get in the way of her.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have moved heaven and earth. And then the great things that happened as a result, then I just started like talking to everybody about it. And I discovered that not everybody wants to hear about it.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about being online is that people find me who need me.
Yeah, that's so great.
Instead of me running people down in the grocery store and saying, "Hey, I've got some great ideas for you." That's not really the best way to approach people. So
well, you've done such an amazing job. And I want to kind of like maybe just do a little pivot here because learning more about you more recently and not being involved in the Green Smoothie Girl, this evolution, finding you with Vibe. And then kind of me backtracking a lot over the past couple of weeks. Energy is a pretty amazing thing. And I've learned so much, and then kind of connecting with you and looking online would you say vibration and energy or can you use them interchangeably, those two words?
Yeah. So exactly. So I made all those changes years ago, but I still hadn't really solved my stuff that went beyond food, that went beyond weight, like getting back to my ideal weight and getting back to the things I loved. I still hadn't solved all the issues, and taking it to the next level came when I discovered some principles of quantum physics. I tripped on a quote by Einstein that said, "Everything in life is vibration." And when I read that, I was like, if everything in life is vibration, why do I not know what that means? And then within a few days, I had also encountered a quote by Nikola Tesla that also made me just think about it. Like I would just think about this for hours and hours and hours. And he said, if you want the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So he put those in the same sentence, Josh, energy, frequency, and vibration. And they are all sort of permutations of each other. Energy is sort of a broad concept, but yeah, the secrets of the universe are found in understanding vibration. And so the book, here it is, a little shameless plug here.
Hey, love it. I got mine on my Kindle here.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's available on all the things, but I call it vibe because we talk about vibe all the time, right? We talk about how we resonate with someone or we don't vibe with an idea that people are sharing. And we're actually talking about something important and valid, which is there's a frequency to everything. And that's what Einstein and Tesla were trying to tell us this in like the 1930s, and nobody was ready to hear it. But here's the thing. In the book, I explore 5 principles of quantum physics and what they have to do with your personal nutrition, health, and more, really, your happiness. Because, when I was in grad school learning how to help people who are suffering in relationships or in anxiety and depression, or these different states that therapists spend full time helping people with, we never talked about energies, and we never talked about the impact on the human being's vibrational frequency of the things that we're medicating with, the foods that we eat, the ways that we're metabolizing our emotions. There's no talk of that. We have to metabolize emotion just like we have to metabolize food. And so when I started to discover these principles of quantum physics, I started to realize that these principles have permeated not just physics, but it's a branch of biology now. And there are whole schools of quantum biology. It has totally permeated modern Western medicine. And I'm talking about the EEG and the ECG. These are diagnostics that use vibrational frequency and tell you about the energy field of the heart and the energy field of the brain, but not just diagnostics. Think about lasers. Lasers have completely changed the face of medicine because now, which is completely different than even 10 years ago, you can cut someone open half an inch and go in with a focused, known killing frequency and cut out and chop up a diseased organ that needs to be removed and then pull it out through a half-inch incision. This was a major surgery that would take people down for months just 10 years ago. And because of energy medicine, or this understanding that the secrets of the universe are found in understanding frequencies, medicine can make a surgery far less invasive and use focused killing frequencies to perform a surgery. But then, this is the flip side of it, gets super exciting, stitch that little half-inch incision up and use a healing laser to heal those cells 10 times faster than they would on their own, because these are known healing frequencies. This is so exciting. And yet these principles of quantum physics that I explore in the book have somehow not made their way into nutrition, and they haven't made their way into psychotherapy. And so you don't have to be a psychotherapist or a dietitian or a nutritionist to read this book and have it be. It's all about you personally and all these little micro choices you make in the course of a day that are going to affect the electromagnetic frequency that makes up you and that surrounds you. Like, you are literally energies, and you are surrounded by an electromagnetic field, and those impressions that you get and the ways your energies interact with other people, interact with specific foods, interact with opportunities. It's really exciting, the deeper the dive on how much energy information is available to us individually.
That's pretty wild. So when you say energy or vibration, there's vibration in everything, or there's energy in everything. I mean, you're going like into your like specific foods also, right? When you're talking about you're the Green Smoothie Girl, but like nutrition, since you said nobody's really taking this dive in with quantum physics or quantum biology or the quantum world to nutrition. How do we do that? Or I know you know how to do that. So kind of give us some ideas of.
Well, we have a long way to go in terms of, it's not like there's a Fitbit out there and I can, get you a Fitbit and it's going to tell you what happens to your energy field when you drink coffee versus what happens to your energy field when you eat tomato that you just pulled out of your own organic garden in the backyard versus a greenhouse ripened tomato that got picked 2 months ago in Chile and sprayed with pesticide. I don't have a Fitbit for that, but we do have some data. And it turns out that every emotion has a vibrational frequency. And when you're experiencing a specific emotion, you are in higher or lower frequencies. And it turns out that higher frequency emotions feel really good. I'm going to show you a little chart. This stuff gets a little bit woo-woo. Okay.
Oh, I love woo-woo. Let's go.
Okay, because sometimes I'm like, how much woo do you want? Do you want one woo or two?
Oh, we can go for 3 if you got it.
Okay, this is probably about as triple woo as the book gets. But this is a little chart here that the Heart Math Institute did. And you can see here, this is the exact same person hooked up to an ECG. Okay, so they're hooked up to an ECG, which is measuring the vibrational waves of their heart. And I'm going to show you the same person, their heart frequencies in a state of frustration or anger.
Okay.
And then same person, this is 200 seconds of them in both states. Same person in the emotional energy or the vibrational state of gratitude. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Look at that top one right there. Can you see how frustration?
It's rough, very rough looking, kind of jagged all over the place.
Yep.
Doesn't look happy.
It kind of looks like it feels like, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now it gets really clear when I show you exact same person who sits and reflects on the things that he's thankful for. This is what gratitude looks like when charted on
and
an ECG.
Nice and smooth and like almost even looking.
Yeah. So now you sort of see a visual of how vibrational frequencies sort of look like, what they feel like. And gratitude is the highest measured vibrational frequency. And so how do we spend more of our day in the high vibration emotions? The high vibration emotions are creativity and that creative flow where maybe you're writing a book or some work of art or you get lost in your tennis game or whatever it is that you do. And 2 hours goes by and you can't believe it was 10 minutes because you were lost in that flow. That's a high vibration emotion that we all love it and we want more of it. And too many of us are hijacked by the low frequency emotions, which are anger, shame, anxiety. Okay, all these low moods, like we know what they are. We can like sit here and attach words to these specific emotional vibrations, but higher vibrations, to go back there, peace, love, compassion, joy. It's easy to feel those when we do some specific things every day. When we do some very specific things, we're actually choosing into those higher vibrations. And at the same time, when we're making these little micro choices that lead us to higher vibrational energies, not only do we get to spend more time in those high frequency emotions, but we're also more disease proof.
Yeah.
Because,
cool.
Like a high vibration liver is detoxifying better. Okay. It's just a rate of oscillation of the cells.
Okay. I'm following you. That's good. So high vibration is where we need to be. Well, we don't need to be there. We should choose to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shoot from the hip here for a second, because we kind of started with food and got into like the heart math, which is so cool. So here's just a thought, and you may or may not have an answer for this. So if our vibration is very high and we grab that crappy piece of food, not like, I'm not saying McDonald's, but like kind of use those 3 examples, like the organic, like an organic tomato from my garden outside, or the one that came from Chile that's pesticide ridden and so on and so forth. Will a high vibrational person can they change a little bit of that vibrational tone of maybe the tomato?
Good question. It actually reminds me of one of the principles of quantum physics we talk about in the book is this one. A substance of a higher frequency can cause a substance of a lower frequency to increase. So I'm going to say that again. And think about this. Like your brain will explode thinking of all the applications of this, all the way from food, what we're choosing to eat, to what we're choosing to medicate with, substances we put on our skin, substance that we might swallow to medicate symptoms, but also the other people we spend our time with. Let me say that again. A substance of a higher frequency can cause a substance of a lower frequency to increase. Now, I think kind of what you were saying is, if I'm higher frequency, am I going to raise the low frequency of that pesticide sprayed green, gas ripened tomato and chili? And I should leave the tomato out of it, because even a greenhouse ripened tomato is going to be a lot higher vibration than some other foods we could talk about. But if we focus in on food, because we talk in the book about emotions, we talk about food, we talk about substances we medicate with, because you guys, the chiropractors, medicate with very different substances than the oncologists do, and the GPs, the medical doctors, the standard of care doctors do, and for very specific reasons. Like you and standard of care doctors see things very, very differently.
Yeah.
And now, and now there's more languaging for you here that's about quantum physics really meets wellness. That's about more than we're using this non-toxic substance, or we're using this botanical that has these specific properties of having these phytonutrients or whatever. Those are old, like Newtonian constructs, right? Where we talk about micronutrients and we talk about cells and electrons and protons and physical structures. Now we're talking about energies. That's where the quantum theories come in. But if a substance of a higher frequency can cause a substance of lower frequency to increase, this is kind of to your question, the corollary is true too. So a substance of a lower, let's just keep it all about us. Let's be like really Freudian here and everything's about us. Like everything in your dreams is about you. Everything we talk about with food is all about you, the person listening, or you, Josh.
Perfect.
So when I eat a hot dog and my vibrational frequency is, Bruce Tainio did some research that I like to talk about, because he used electrical measurement of hertz, and we all understand hertz. We all learned about that's how electrical energy could be measured, is in hertz. We all learned that in like high school. So we understand that unit of measure, and that's why I use his research. We could talk about other research, and there's research that I'm working on with a PhD scientist where using gas chromatography or biophotonic emissions, we can see vibrational frequencies and make it very visual. But Bruce Tainio showed us that a healthy human being, all the ones he measured, who are without disease states, they're about 62 to 68 hertz of energy. Okay. 62 to 68 hertz. So remember that number, because now you've got that principle of physics. A substance of a higher frequency can cause a substance of a lower frequency to increase. Okay, let's think of you as the substance. You are 62 to 68 hertz of energy. You're probably an outlier. You're probably 69. So what do you think is the measurable hertz of energy of a hot dog?
Oh, God, it can't be anything. It's got to be like negative.
Yeah, well, so if we go to, this is really gross, but if we go to, what do you call those places where the corpses are?
Like a
morgue.
A morgue.
We go to the morgue, and we pull out a drawer where there's somebody in there. We take a tiny chunk of skin, we put it under a microscope. You would think that you would see no motion, right? Because it's dead. What's interesting is you actually do see motion. Like everything is in motion. If you're sitting on a chair right now and you think that that's so fixed, there's actually vibrational energy. There's motion to absolutely everything. And that's what Einstein was talking about when he said everything in life is vibration. But you're not going to see much motion like you would if I cut a chunk out of your skin right now and put it under the microscope, because you're very much alive. So a hot dog actually is in motion. All of its cells, atoms, electrons, they're all still in motion. Otherwise, how would they become Earth, right? How would they decompose? So the vibrational energy of a hot dog is about 2 hertz.
2 hertz. Ugh.
So based on this little principle of quantum physics, what do you think eating a hot dog is going to do to your vibrational energy? Just to bring it back to your original question.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be like a tug of war here, but I imagine that dead thing, right, that's made up of all, who knows what, it would probably drag you down a little bit, like throwing an anchor down.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I don't know if you know the comedian JP Sears, but I did a thing with him yesterday, and I told him that a green juice, on the other hand, is about 80 hertz.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you like get a fresh pressed green juice with organic greens, maybe you throw some turmeric or ginger in there, some of the superfoods. I mean, now we're talking about some of the highest vibration foods there are, about 80 hertz. And he said, okay, so your point is I'm going to drag that green juice down.
Uh-oh.
Yes, but again, back to let's make it all about you. What happens to your vibration when you eat an amazing, food with the properties of high vibrational frequencies? What happens to you?
It's going to take mine and help me elevate a little bit.
Yeah, right. You got it.
Very cool. So you're saying we should probably eat high vibration foods. Is that true?
Yes, I like it. I like where you're going with this.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm glad I actually did have greens today. Good. I would have felt really bad coming on this show and
if all you ate was hot dogs.
Oh God. No, I would never eat that anyway. But yeah, if I ate hot dogs, I would be sitting underneath the table with the microphone down there talking to you in shame. Oh goodness. So where do we go from here? So from metaphysics. So we go from food. We talk about the quantum field and possibility. So, and like maybe I guess limitless, right? What do you say? Like there's unlimited possibility in the quantum field. So if you're going into that, like that picture you just showed me, not that the audience can see that right now, but the gratitude or appreciation, what it said, if you can get into that field of energy or vibration internally, if you get there yourself and then adding things like the food, the people you're around, maybe your environment you're living in, those all kind of will like lift the energy, or really kind of keep it at like that 80 or that 68 or 69, 70, wherever it is.
Yeah. And we all want to feel like that chart that we showed of what gratitude looks like. We want to stay in those more often. And it's not that we don't ever feel grief, and it's not that we don't ever feel anger. And some of these low vibrations can be cleansing, can be cathartic, can be important. We have to go through them. The problem is when we get stuck there. And we've all been around people who stay in low vibration emotional states instead of letting those energies flow through. And so keeping energies flowing is really key to our health. And, you mentioned a bunch of things that we've been talking about, and it's a big subject. That's why I wrote a book about it instead of writing a blog post about it, is that, we can talk about everything from what we medicate with to what we eat to who we spend our time with. But I think that as we acquire the language of energy, frequency, and vibration, and we recognize that everything has electromagnetic frequency, and we realize that we are electrical beings, and we realize that we are magnetic beings, then we can realize that we're always attracting and repelling. And what and who we're attracting and repelling has everything to do with what we have built ourselves out of. Have we built ourselves out of high vibration materials? Have we spent our time in high vibration activities and with other high vibration people? And we know when someone's a high vibration person because when we meet them, maybe you meet someone at a cocktail party and maybe you only talk to them for a few minutes. You're trying to figure out when you can spend more time with them. Has this happened to you?
Yeah, totally. Of course.
Well, and it's probably not always like a beautiful woman and you're like, oh, she's like, that's
My wife would kill me.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Oops. Shh. No, don't tell anybody. I was kidding.
It's not always that kind of attraction.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And a lot of times we meet someone who we are seeking out. We want more interaction with that person. And I talk about it in terms of resonant frequencies. It's not that, they're a good or bad person. It's that your energetic frequencies match theirs. And then you've had the same experience where you're at you're at a cocktail party or the waitress waits on you at a table or whatever, and you cannot get away from this person fast enough.
Yeah. Yeah. You know that person when they walk in the room,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And you almost just kind of move backwards
Yeah, totally.
physically because of vibration.
Yeah.
It's about energies.
Yeah. So I think the audience listening is going like, holy cow. I think I probably have been sensing this my whole life, but now I'm actually going to get some kind of meaning put behind all of it and some science and some, I liked a lot of the nerdy stuff, but I love this woo woo stuff and which is scientific now, which is so cool.
Yeah.
But there's something you just said that I think is so cool that I've never even, in being that I've been studying a lot of like the quantum world for a while and even more the past few months, that energy is constantly flowing through.
Yeah.
And, that is a really neat concept that, we can change, like if that bad person walks in the room, we don't need to kind of let it kind of be a magnet. And I have this conversation with patients saying that I'm like, so what's going on? And we kind of like some of their pain may be emotional or whatever it may be. And like, well, there was this guy in the 7th grade. I'm like, Mary, you're 72. I'm like what's going on? That was like a long time ago. You're holding on to this energy, this emotion for so long. I'm like, there's no way that's going to be healthy for you.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's a chapter in the book where I talk about how my understanding of energies have helped me just develop this way of getting rid of the negative vibrations faster. Because I think if we feel anger, if we feel frustration, if we feel anxiety, they're there for a reason. They're there to teach us something. There's something instructive there. And so I take you through a 90-second process that I didn't develop this so that I could write a book. It's not like I need the 90-second process. It's actually something I did years and years ago as I was doing my own work. And as I was researching and I was figuring out, okay, and what else? All right, so I lost the 70 pounds. I ditched the 21 diseases I had when I was in my mid-20s. That's awesome. But I haven't resolved it all yet. And part of resolving my own stuff was realizing that negative energies can flow through and that I can, when I learned that the average emotion lasts 90 seconds, I got really clear with myself that if my negative emotions are lasting longer than 90 seconds, then there's something I am doing to hijack them and put them on a replay loop. And so when Mary is still talking about someone who wronged her in 7th grade, it's like, if someone gives you a cup of poison, and you drink it hoping, it's like the definition of insanity, right? Thinking that they're going to die. If the person who gave you the cup of poison, when you drink it, it's not going to kill them. It's going to kill you. And so
cool.
The more we can figure out what the negative vibe that we feel is there to teach us, ask it what it's there for, give it the attention it's due, and then let it move through. Help it move through. Every single little thing we talk about in the book, they're all micro choices. None of them are hard, and none of them are like earth-shattering or science-y, or they're all little things that most of them you probably already know to do, but we're giving you like specific reasons to do it because we all want to, once we get clear on the fact that we want to live in higher vibrations and we want to help other people live in higher vibrations, then these little micro choices we make get a lot more important. It gets a lot clearer why we're doing them. And it motivates me. It motivates me. Like when I talk about a negative from my past, I'm darn well going to tell you what was instructive for me about that and what I think might be useful for you. I'm not just going to keep telling everybody I meet about, my divorce 9 years ago and what a jerk he is, just because I can't let it go. It brings everyone's frequency down. If I talk to you about my divorce, there's going to be a reason for it.
Yeah. The tone is going to change now if we, right?
Yeah. And when you understand that you are made up of energies and that everybody who comes into your energy field, you're literally electron exchanging with them, it gets really clear that you have a responsibility to them. Like if you make a concerted goal to increase the vibration of your family, of other people who come in your energy fields, once you understand these things, then it gets really exciting to challenge yourself every time you're with someone. How can I raise the vibe here?
Yeah, and I bet all the people listening now, Adams, are kind of going crazy, and they're on Amazon or on your website, like buying this book. This is so. I love how practical you are, and how you make this stuff sound so, or you don't make it sound. You actually make it simple for people. You know, you got to plug people in, and I think that's a gift that you've definitely, I don't know if it's been given or created yourself or evolved to, but
Thank you.
this is really, I like even more now. I didn't even know you before this. This is so cool. I can't wait to go out to Utah and ski with you.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Oh my goodness. We'll get the vibrational go way up.
Yeah, I'm actually, I have a home in Park City. I live down here in the valley. I live about 20 minutes from Sundance, but I have a home in Park City. And when my youngest child graduates high school next summer, I'm moving to Park City. So I'm going to be closer to the best skiing.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Wow. So let's do this, since we've covered like a mile wide here, and I love it. I hope everybody listening absolutely loves it as well. So if you can do this, if you wouldn't mind, if there's three important things that someone could do in the next day, hour, minute, what they can do to kind of increase their vibrational energy, besides going to buy the book, that's zero. We know they're doing that already. I want to know what they can do.
Okay.
Of value for people.
I do too, and that's a wonderful question. And one thing that you can do that might not be the first thing you think of is that you are surrounded by dirty energies every day. Just as a function of living in the modern world, we're surrounded by these electronic gadgets everywhere. I've got 2 PC screens in front of me, and they're actually emitting electromagnetic frequencies. These are broken, chaotic frequencies that interfere with your ability to do all the things that we're talking about. They actually interfere with the high vibration. And so go outside and take your shoes off and get as much of you as possible in contact with the earth every day. If you are lucky enough to be listening to this in a season where you can go outside, obviously this doesn't necessarily work every single day of the year, but as many days as possible, especially if you're feeling down or if you're feeling sort of ADD, like I can't focus, that's energies talking to you. It's your energies are broken or feeling jangled. Go outside, drink a glass of water before you go outside. Because remember, you're an electrical being, so more conductivity is good. Mm-hmm. Go outside, take your shoes off, get in contact with earth. Remember, human beings for like 3.4 million years were in contact with earth every day. Most Americans do not touch earth for months at a time. So go outside, get your feet in the grass or the sand or the dirt, because you are discharging dirty energies. You are discharging electrons that you don't need and protons onto the ground. Not only that, and you're picking up antioxidants, just like you do when you eat healthy food. You are also in contact with the vibrational energy of the earth. And the core of the earth is 528 hertz, which is one of the most powerful healing frequencies there is, very well known to be very healing to human beings. So when we go outside and we lie in the grass, like let's say I just went outside and I was lying in the grass, which I do most days. It's not just that I'm discharging extra electrons that I picked up because I spend time with all these devices. It's also that I am in contact with earth, and it is innately healing to human beings. But while you're out there, if you can get your skin in the sun, remember, if you're an electrical being, you have a battery and you need to charge that battery. It's not just vitamin D that the sun does for you. You're actually picking up electrical charge. That's why it feels amazing to be in the sun. That's why it feels amazing to lie in the grass. It's not just that it reminds you of your childhood. It's the things that we're just talking about here. While you're out there, take some deep breaths, because you are raising the oscillation, the frequency, the oscillation of trillions of cells in your respiratory system, which then have a cascading effect into your cardiovascular system. And you're detoxifying better, raising your frequency in what are we up to 4 different ways now?
Yeah.
Taking deep breaths, do some yoga stretches, because while you do that, you're twisting the spine, you are releasing chemicals that don't belong there. You're detoxifying as you twist the spine. And one more thing while you're out there, before you come back inside, and this can be really powerful in just 5 minutes outside, take yourself into a state of emotional gratitude. Think about the things that you're grateful for. Think about the people who love you. Think about the remarkable things that have happened in the course of your life. They can be tiny little things. They could be like that you have clean sheets today. It could be it's that you love your kitten, whatever. Take yourself through about 5 things you're grateful for. And when you come back in, you'll have a buzz that is far more sustainable and far healthier than any Monster or Rockstar that you could drink. And it's just good for you, and it feels good.
Awesome.
So that's not 3 things. That's a whole bunch of things.
But
you
can
do them all at once.
Go inside, go to your website, get some information on what's the best way to make the best smoothie, and go green for right after you're playing outside.
Eat more plant foods too. I mean, if I kept on going from there, I'd say eat more plant foods. And this is not super popular in the age of the paleo and the keto diet being, the most popular diets right now. But the highest vibration foods, I'm not making this up, I don't have any agenda here, is, you ready for this? Fruit.
Wow.
Yeah.
All
even
right.
higher than greens. So get those superfoods, get those fruits, get those greens in your diet. And you know what? Those are the 3 highest classes of like vibrational frequency, and they really blend up well as a green smoothie, those 3.
Yeah, we got more. She's giving away stuff, people. This is great. So what I'm going to do, we're going to stop here. And in the end, when I kind of go through everything and share more of your information, we're going to have a really cool giveaway, a really cool thing that we're going to give to Lifestyle Locker Nation here. I can't tell you what it is yet. It's going to be pretty awesome though, because the Green Smoothie Girl is hooking us up. So
awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Robyn. This was way better, way better. Way more woo-woo than I could have imagined. This was fantastic. So with gratitude, thank you so much.
It's my great pleasure and honor. Thank you, Josh. It's nice to be here.
Wow. How much did you love Robyn? She was awesome. The Green Smoothie Girl, full of knowledge. Her story was so cool. Her passion for what she does is amazing. So, because we had such a good time in the recording, she has actually offered to give us a couple things. And you're going to be able to find them on lifestylelocker.com/vibe. And we are going to actually have 2 things for you. We're going to have you get the High Vibe shopping list, which will have the 200 most high vibration foods to buy, to use as often as you can, and the 45 lowest to avoid. Secondly, we are going to have these videos. These are the 5-in-1 quick vibe raising videos, and we're going to give those away too. They have a $69 value, so I hope you will love them, enjoy them, watch them, and then let us know how you do. You can leave comments on lifestylelocker.com. You can share with me on Instagram at Dr. Josh Hant, or you can email me at drjosh@lifestylelocker.com. Love to hear from all of you. Have a fantastic day, and see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.